Viewed from the summit of Whistler Mountain in Jasper, this Canadian national freight train has 2 locos hauling over 160 cars, is approximately 3 kilometers long and weighs around 7,000 tons. And from this viewpoint, you really can see just how long they are. We're on board the Rocky Mountaineer train from Jasper to Vancouver via Kamloops, and passing freight trains certainly are frequent. They also take priority over the tourist trains, as you would expect, but fortunately we have few delays en route. Conveniently, our hotel is across the road from Jasper's marshalling yard, so I'm up early this morning to capture these mighty freight trains coming in and leaving too. They are hauling freight by well-known companies such as Maersk, Evergreen, just 2 of the world's largest shipping companies, and just passing the Mediterranean shipping company MSC. Low loaders are often double stacked with containers, so tunnels need to be at least 6.5 meters high. I guess the guy in the orange high-vis is the boss, whilst the other lad is learning the ropes. Changing the points is clearly hard work. Oil, coal, timber, grain and various minerals are transported by these powerful locomotives. These locos are nearly 28 meters long, weigh up to 38 tons, and the power output is somewhere between 4,500 to 6,000 horsepower. Wow. The total weight of these trains really determines just how many locos they'll need. 2, 3, or even 4 locos are often used, placed front, rear and middle. Another factor, of course, is the gradients along the route, which would require extra motive power, of course. Herzog reminds me of Werner Herzog, the film director. Morant's Curve was named after a photographer who worked for the Canadian Pacific Railroad.
At Morant's Curve, in the pouring rain, waiting for a train to come.
Madness. 157 miles southeast of Jasper is the small old railway town of Field by the Kick and Horse River in Yoho National Park. Not far from Field are the famous spiral tunnels. In Field's information centre, there's a model how this marvel of engineering works. It's located in Cathedral Mountain, and the rail climbs some 14.5 metres in under 900 metres of track. A cleverly engineered way of climbing steep gradients. Across the highway, I captured the same train entering a tunnel. Back in Jasper, it's amusing to see how many of these cars are graffitified. Probably a made-up word. Canadian National is the larger of the two main freight carriers, with 20,400 miles of track. More artistic graffiti. In the heart of the Rocky Mountains, Jasper's a great place to film trains. Once again, I'm up early and spot a goose. Obviously, it's a train spotter. Whilst Canadian National appears to have the larger network, its rival, Canadian Pacific, founded in 1881, will always have the prestige and the kudos of opening up the West from coast to coast into British Columbia. A group of folk are here, but not for train spotting. Our shadows from the embankment as we watch the elk family across the tracks. Here in Jasper, Alberta, it's common to see wildlife on the railroad tracks, and the engineers, I guess, see this a lot. A distant rumble signals an approaching train. This is his rutting call, or is it a warning call? These Canadian national freight trains are up to 3.7 kilometres in length, which is why Jasper has such long marshalling yards. In a couple of days, we'll be taking the Rocky Mountaineer train from here to Vancouver, and we're so looking forward to that. As we travel southwest towards Vancouver, following the Thompson and Fraser Rivers, it was the Canadian Pacific who first hacked their way through rock on what was considered the easier route. Some 30 years later, the Canadian National Route on the opposite side of the river was completed after a considerable engineering feat. We're about to cross one of the Cisco bridges near Lytton. And as our tourist train crosses over, a Canadian national freight train passes beneath us. Oh well, I've had a great time filming these trains.